Probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio is voting for Kamala Harris. Has nothing to do with the Diddy parties.
when you guys were talking,
nothing to do with the Diddy parties. He's endorsed Kamala Harris because of climate change.
Then did you see him? He's on a yacht and then on a private jet. Literally
so
like
smart.
last week. Do you know Diddy won a lawsuit against that alcohol company? The alcohol company,
Ciroc?
Ciroc.
Yes.
He won like $1 billion deal, and once that happened, then this all came out.
Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like they're the state of New York. One of the district attorneys was hiding documents. They'd have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild. If she's over 30, you don't even have to worry about Leo.
Not over like 23.
Yeah.
30. 30
That's
is
like
like over the hill.
Remember the photos of Jeff Bezos and his girlfriend,
Would she
Leonardo
like
DiCaprio? Yeah, she was like smiling at him, and then Jeff Bezos like was joking around about pushing him off a cliff. Like,
Yeah.
but like you don't have to worry about her, bro. She's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see you could see her doing like the cost benefit analysis, like Leo or richest man in the world.
Well, also like, can you even keep Leo? You're not. That's not going to work.
No, you need
Like,
to be like 19.
Well, even if you're 19, as soon as you hit 24, he's going to be shopping. It's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo like was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
And then there's also like people that are elites, and that's their thing. Like their thing is to do something that is horrible, and it's not available to other people. So it's like, I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden?
P. Diddy party. This is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look. Would you?
Get a drink on his head.
And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is a actual DJs. I'm supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them.
Why don't they air it the same way they aired the coverage that
Johnny
Johnny Depp got?
I know. Why don't they? I don't know. They should. The ratings would be amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why wouldn't you air that?
What's going to happen though? You think?
Well, Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get.
Think he's
hit
going to
up.
sing though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein. It's another Ghislaine Maxwell, where somebody gets indicted and nobody else indicted for trafficking kids to
right to no one.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like Diddy hung out with everybody, and I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, "Yo, great dude, like always there for you, never asked for a single thing."
Till 1 a.m.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, "Get out of the house."
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight. Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are fucking like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are fucking, and it's like,
and
Joe Rogan just lit a fire under one of the most powerful names in entertainment. During a recent podcast discussion, he didn't hold back. The name at the center of the controversy, Sean Diddy Combs. But this time, the story isn't just about power, parties, or headlines. It's about a young Leonardo DiCaprio and the unsettling connections no one wanted to talk about. For years, people whispered about Diddy's influence, about his inner circle, about his reputation behind the scenes. But those whispers have now turned into something louder, something impossible to ignore. And with Leonardo DiCaprio's name suddenly surfacing, the internet has erupted with shock, confusion, and outrage. Joe Rogan didn't accuse anyone of crimes, he simply pointed to the patterns, disturbing timelines, resurfaced footage, and a web of connections that painted a picture too strange to dismiss. Let's go deeper. In the early 1990s, Leonardo DiCaprio was becoming a household name. With breakout roles in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Romeo plus Juliet, and eventually Titanic, he was seen as a rising talent with a bright future, young, charismatic, and constantly in demand. At the same time, Sean Combs was building his empire. Through Bad Boy Records, he was changing the sound of hip-hop, launching artists like Notorious B.I.G., and gaining influence in music, fashion, and nightlife. On the surface, DiCaprio and Diddy didn't have much in common. One was a young actor breaking into Hollywood. The other was a music mogul rising through the ranks of East Coast rap. And yet, they were showing up in the same places. Why would a teenager be attending adult industry parties hosted by one of the most powerful names in entertainment? That's what Joe Rogan wanted to know. He started digging into old photos, red carpet interviews, and stories from insiders. What he found were repeated sightings of Leo and Diddy at events that made little sense for someone Leo's age. Back then, no one thought to question it. But today, it looks different. Social media has a long memory, and when Rogan brought up the photos, fans started sharing images that had been buried for years. One image in particular sparked a storm. Leonardo, Diddy, and several others gathered in what appeared to be a private setting. What made people uncomfortable wasn't just who was there, but the overall energy of the scene. Too relaxed, too exclusive, and for many, too suspicious. Rogan joked about the skinny white boy legs in one photo, but beneath the humor, he was making a real point. What was Leo doing in those rooms, and why did nobody speak up? As more images surfaced, the pattern became hard to ignore. Despite being in different industries, Diddy and Leonardo crossed paths often, always behind the scenes. And it wasn't just Leo. According to Rogan, Diddy had a habit of surrounding himself with young, rising stars, not just in music, but also in film and fashion. He built his reputation on being a kingmaker, someone who could introduce you to the right people, get you in the right rooms, and change your future overnight. But what did he expect in return? That's where things get murky. Rogan made it clear he wasn't accusing Leonardo of anything. In fact, he praised him. He said Leo was one of the few who managed to navigate Hollywood's darkest corners and still come out successful, but even survivors carry scars. If you look at Leo's early interviews, he was open, bright, and energetic. As time passed, that changed. He became guarded, more private, and hesitant to talk about his early days. Rogan pointed to one 1995 interview where Leo was asked about his new friends in the industry. Leo pauses, stammers, then quickly changes the subject. Back then, no one noticed. Now, that moment hits differently. Joe Rogan has spent years calling out hypocrisy and power imbalances in Hollywood, but this time he took it to another level. He pointed out how the same story keeps repeating. A young, talented individual gains sudden access to the industry's inner circle, and Diddy is right there in the mix. Whether it's Justin Bieber, Aaron Carter, or Leonardo DiCaprio, the story sounds eerily familiar. Diddy offers access, influence, and opportunity. But then the questions start. What happens when someone tries to step away? Why do so many former insiders stay silent for years? And why are so many stories only coming out now? According to Rogan, it's not about one moment, it's about a long-standing culture of control, one where powerful people protect each other while the truth stays hidden in plain sight. And now, that truth is unraveling. Rogan didn't stop at connecting patterns. He went straight at the media. He called out journalists, publicists, and entertainment executives who looked the other way for years. He accused them of helping Diddy build a reputation that was more illusion than reality. They let him into every room, Rogan said, every party, every after-hours event, and nobody questioned why he was always around young talent. That silence, Rogan said, was part of the problem. Now that Diddy is facing investigations and legal battles, the silence is finally cracking. More and more former insiders are stepping forward. More stories are being unearthed. And more people are realizing that the man once praised as a visionary had a very different reputation behind the scenes. Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't spoken publicly about his connection to Diddy, and maybe he never will, but Joe Rogan believes that silence was part of his survival. By keeping quiet, Leo may have been protecting his career and maybe even his safety. He didn't want to blow it up, Rogan said. He didn't want to get blacklisted. That one sentence hit hard. It's a reminder that in Hollywood, staying silent can be the only way to stay employed. But now, as more voices rise and more patterns are exposed, that silence is becoming less necessary. Joe Rogan ended his podcast rant with a warning. Diddy's empire is collapsing. Too many lawsuits, too many questions, too many people finally brave enough to speak up. The image Diddy spent years building of a powerful, respected mogul is crumbling fast. And once the walls fall, the world will start looking at everyone who stood beside him with fresh eyes. That includes actors, musicians, politicians, media executives, even former friends. According to Rogan, the real question isn't whether Leonardo DiCaprio will speak out. It's whether anyone else who was there will finally tell the truth. You don't need a confession, Rogan said. You just need to open your eyes. Those were his final words on the matter, and for many fans, it was enough. Whether or not Leonardo DiCaprio ever tells his side of the story, Joe Rogan's message was clear. The truth is already in front of us. The signs, the patterns, the footage, it's all there. What matters now is whether the public is ready to accept it. Diddy's story is no longer one of success. It's a story of power, silence, and a legacy unraveling piece by piece. And if even half of what Joe Rogan implied turns out to be true, then this isn't just a scandal. It's a reckoning.